In the last video, I talked about how to play the game 끝말잇기, which is literally 끝말, so the end word connecting. And I also explained that it's actually pronounced as 끈말잇기 due to what's known as the ni은 첨가, which is this letter, ni은. 첨가 means addition. So this is a sound change rule where a ni은 gets added into a word where it didn't exist. Now, since this is a sound change rule, it only affects how you pronounce a word. Again, you're not going to ever write the word like this. It's always going to be written like this, but this is how you pronounce it. So to summarize this rule very quickly, some words that have this sound, E, at the beginning of them can change into ni when you put a word before them. Now, this only happens when these two words are said as one word. So that will be like compound words. You're not going to just have two different words in a sentence, one said after the other. It won't change in that situation. It's when they're said together as one word. To give you an example, let's say you take the word 사람 and you attach 이. So the subject marker, it's never going to be 사람이, it's always going to be 사람이, because these are not two words being stuck together. This is just the particle. Also, the word 높이 is just one word already. 높이. It's not even a particle, it's just part of the word. Here though, it is two words, 끈말, and then 읽기. So here it does happen because these are two words put together into one. Let me just give you a couple examples where this happens. This one is pronounced as 깻잎. Now this 시옷 is actually what's known as a 사이시옷, and I have a video about that on my channel if you're curious, but this word is 깻잎. So it's a combination of this part with this part, therefore this E here becomes 니. Another one is 앞, meaning one word here, and 일, another word, 앞일, which gets pronounced as 앞일, like that, due to regular sound change rules. So this word 깻잎 is perilla leaf, and this word 앞일 is the future or things to come. Literally, 앞 in front of you, 일, like a thing. So that's the basic rule. You take two words and you stick them together into becoming one new word. Then if the second word you're adding starts with the E sound, well, it changes into a ni. That's pretty simple, right? Well, it's not just E. It actually applies to any variation of this. And there are some really common variations. 야, 여, 요, and you are also variations of E. In fact, you can think of these like 이야, 여, 요, and I'm running out of space here, I'll just write it down here, you. In fact, if you say these quickly, that's a good way to practice these sounds. 야 is ya, 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 ya. Say it faster. Yo is yo, yo, yo. And of course, there can be anything on the bottom of this. For example, here we saw a lir, but you might also see any other letter. Okay, let me give you a couple more examples. 서울역. So Seoul Station is pronounced as 서울역, 서울역. So it adds, wait a minute, this is not a ni은. It is, but let me show you. So 서울역, right? So we have these two words, 서울 for Seoul and 역 for station. We stick them together into one word. Well, this word here starts with this syllable, 요. This syllable then becomes 요. Well then, why is it not 서울역? Well, due to regular sound change rules, when you have a lir followed by a ni은, or vice versa, they will become, usually, lir. This ni은 that we've just added then becomes this letter, lir, and you get 서울역. So it's actually two sound change rules working together. 담요 for blanket is a combination of the word 담, meaning like fur. So it's like fur that's been washed and prepared to be used in a blanket. And 요, the word 요 means a mattress. And when this is together, let's see, how would this be pronounced? Well, here it's 요, it's being combined into another word. So 담요 is how this is pronounced, even though it's written as 담요. You wouldn't read this as 담요, but 담요. Okay, so the end? No, well, there's one more thing I wanted to talk about, and that is, well, like all sound change rules, these were actually not created. These are simply ways of describing what people already naturally do when they pronounce things. So sound change rules are simply a way to classify what already happens naturally in speech. So this can actually sometimes happen between words, if the words are being pronounced as if they were one word. So two different words that aren't actually a compound noun, but they're being pronounced completely together as if they were. 옷 입다, to wear, clothes. Well, what about here? 입, it does have this 입 sound. Well, these are two separate words. So normally the pronunciation for this is 옷 입다. So you would get 옷 입다. This is the right answer. These are two separate words. But what if you were to say them like really quick, as if it were one word? Well, then what would that look like? Well, first you're still gonna have 옷 here. Then this one would become 닙다. But we're not done, because then due to regular sound change rules again, it also changes, so it becomes 옷 입다. It's acceptable to say 옷 입다 as either 옷 입다, and 99% of people will say it as 옷 입다. But if you wanted to compress them together as one word, you could say them as 옷 입다, and it's also correct. I said that our word is actually pronounced as 끈말잇기. So we have here, it becomes nit. This is pronounced as nitki. So we have 끈말릳끼. How did we go from 끈말 and 닉기 to 릭기? Well, this is the same sound change rule that happens with Seoul Station. You have this letter, the lir, coming before here. Well, then that changes this one to become a lir. So you're left with lit. Look at all these sound change rules. Okay, we're not done. One more quick thing. There are some exceptions. This doesn't always happen. For example, the days of the week. So 일요일, 월요일, etc. It doesn't happen with these. You're not gonna ever say these as 요일. So if you see a word and you can check the pronunciation on Naver Dictionary and it doesn't show this happening, well then that's simply a word where it doesn't happen. Although you can also consider it as this is not really a combination of two words. 일 is not really a separate word, it's simply a 한자. But most of the time, this rule does apply. You do not need to really memorize this rule and keep track of it, but checking a dictionary will be the fastest way to figure out how a word is pronounced. That's enough of this. So where else have you seen this happen before? Let me know down in the comments. I do read all of those. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in another lesson. 그럼 다음에 또 봐.